Hello and welcome to the Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlund. I have one other Infinity Bro out of the 6 with me. It is Mark Jones, the tinfoil hat distributor of the Infinity Bros universe. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Excited.
Me too. I'm excited. I'm always excited to be on an episode with you because it's great fun. We always have fun together. So we have a couple things to talk about today. Number one is Twin Cities Con. We're gonna get a little bit into that. We obviously are Minnesota-based podcast, so Twin Cities Con is one of the bigger nerd conventions here, and chat about that a little bit, about the guests that we're excited for. We're going to be talking a little bit of Gen V that just dropped yesterday, currently recording on September 18th. So there's actually a Peacemaker drop tonight in about 18 minutes. This will be available as soon as this episode is live. But we're going to be talking mostly episodes 2 to 4. We do have a previous episode where we reviewed the premiere of Peacemaker Season 2. So that will be in the show notes. Make sure you go check that out. But yeah, we're going to dive into Gen V and Peacemaker a little bit this episode. So, and if you're not familiar with the Infinity Bros, we're a group of 6 guys that talk about pop culture things, review nerd news, movies, TV, video games, pretty much anything we're itching to talk about. So, Mark, what are you itching to talk about? Out of all these things, what is your favorite one?
Between Gen V and Peacemaker?
And Twin Cities Con. You could throw that in.
Twin Cities Con. You know, I haven't watched, I know we went into this knowing that I hadn't watched Gen V Season 2 or part of it, but I'm excited for that to see what they're going to do.
Yep.
Peacemaker has been great. Right now, I think I'm getting a little more excited for Twin Cities Con, even though it's about 2 months away. It's always having a fun time there, seeing all the vendors, seeing what's new, having the chance to, get a photo op or something signed by a celebrity. It's pretty nice. But yeah.
November 7th through the 9th, Friday through Sunday. Gone the last 2 years together? 3? I don't know. There was a gap. Probably.
There was 1 year we didn't go because, one of us or both of us were sick or something. Like it just kind of like we had planned.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh, we could only make this 1 day work. And then it was just like, and then it just fell through. But yes, I think this would be our 4th year in a row planning to go to it.
Yeah, it's always a blast. Always get to hang out, meet a lot of cool people, see a lot of really awesome cosplays, buy way too much merchandise.
Yes.
I remember that first year I went, I like, that was like my first con that I had ever been to. And I did not really understand that they're like half of the con is just vendors and like people selling you stuff.
Right. And I assumed that first time we went, where I spent way too much stuff. And if viewers see, my background is brand new because we just moved. And like my background used to be all pictures from that first time we went to the con.
Yeah.
And then, when we went last year, it's like I went with just cash I was willing to spend. So I didn't spend like $1,000. So.
I mean, you were about half that, I think, weren't you? You were like, I don't remember the exact number, but I think you spent over $400 for sure.
Last year, yeah.
The first year you were.
First year, I between cash and credit card, I spent close to $1,000.
Yeah, I remember you just going nuts, and I was like, "Holy crap! Should I be like buying more stuff to like keep up with Mark?"
No, 4 years ago though, because I think it was 22 when the first time we went, so it's been 3 years ago. Like, I was definitely like, "Oh, let's just get as much stuff as I can." And now I'm like, I want to see what especially when I'm pretty much. I'll say this. I don't collect toys anymore, so I'm kind of out of that action figure game. But now I'm more in the hunt for like certain comics or graded cards. That's what I'd be out on the eye for. So
I think if there were a figure that looked really sweet, I would be down to buy it. I'm not a collector of pretty much anything really, but the one that really gets me that I still haven't gotten my hands on yet is the Venom figure from the Spider-Man 2 special edition like video game. Oh, that one is so sweet because it's got
like
Venom.
An action figure or like a statue.
It's like a statue. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty. That's what the online joke came out, like 19 inches of Venom. It's a 19-inch statue, and it's got both Miles and Peter in
Mhm.
it, like fighting Venom, and it is so cool. Like I've had that on my wish list for a long time, and I just haven't gotten around to picking it up. But I've got my listed as like my wish list on eBay, so every once in a while I'll pop on there, check a few of them out, and see if any of them are super cheap or anything like that. But
Right.
that's the one figure that I'm like, I would love to get my hands on that. But if I was at a con and had money to burn,
Right.
saw a figure that I was like, okay, this is sick, I would be tempted to pull the trigger.
And that's like kind of the fun of the hunt for that stuff, is finding it in the wild versus just buying it on
Right.
eBay.
Yeah. Well, and you never know what you're going to find at a con either.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you got, your big vendors that are going to have, the typical stuff that you would find at local game
Mhm.
stores. But then you've got the really like niche local guys that just basically go to cons and that's it. Like
Or like
that's
actual
the fun
artists
stuff.
that like
Oh yeah,
make their
right.
stuff too.
Right. And that's what I spent most of my money on that first year was
Mhm.
artists booths with
Well,
prints and stuff like that.
and that's another thing. I now have been to enough events, not necessarily this con, but to stay away from some of those prints that are clearly like, I can go get those on the internet. So it's like, how did they
True.
allow these
Right.
vendors in just to
Yep.
sell these prints versus like there are some people that like, here's my art that I made into a print, and like
Right.
that's a little
And
different.
that's
So
right. And that's I feel like there's a few of them that were cool enough that I was like, okay, I don't
yeah.
even care necessarily about the artist. Like that sounds bad to say, but like most of the prints that I bought, I like actually talked to the artists and were like, oh, how did making this one go? Like, did you enjoy this? That was the fun part of those pieces that I bought in that instance. But there were definitely two or three that I bought that first year that I was just like, this looks sick. I don't even care if it's their art or
Mhm.
if it's something they just found online or whatever. But I did hear that there has been this year specifically. I'm sure there has been this in previous years too, but with the prevalence of AI becoming such a huge deal, there's been artists that are like AI artists that would
Mhm.
go to cons and sell their AI art. And there's been a few that just got straight up kicked out of cons
Mhm.
because con people are pretty territorial, I feel like, when it comes to that type of stuff. Like
Mhm.
AI, a lot of people are like, AI is not real art, which there's definitely a case to be made for it, but
I don't know. I mean, people can argue that like, oh, it's all these prompts. That they still put prompts in to get it right, but it's
right.
like
Hmm.
AI is not really traditional AI where the AI actually is how we envision AI in sci-fi. It's
Yeah,
basically just an augmented search engine
right.
that is
Yeah,
able to quantumly search this stuff as fast as it can, put it together into one. So it's like, to me, it's just like, it's a fine line, but I'm with you
right.
where it's just like, I'd rather go original than someone
Right.
just doing some
Like for
prompts to get an
personally to
image.
me, I'm probably not going to buy a AI print or from an AI artist, but like I'm not gonna freak out on them just for being there.
Sure.
Like whatever,
I would like to be
that's your thing.
disclosed that it's AI art before
Yes, that's true.
purchasing.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know the stories behind. I know there was a con in Texas. There was like a vendor or two that got kicked out of the con for selling AI art. So I wonder if that's why they were kicked out because they were presenting it as like their own art
Possibly.
or something like
We'll
that.
have to be on the watch out for at the Minneapolis con.
Might have to. But anyways, if you're going to be there, yeah, make sure you hook up with us. We'll probably have an episode or two before this where we have like a secret code or something so we can give out some
Sure.
free Infinity Realms merch. So stay tuned for that. But a lot of different guests are going to be there. We were just talking on the Patreon version of this episode, which you can get by checking out the show link in the show notes for exclusive access to Infinity Bros content. But yeah, there's a lot of cool guests that are going to be there. And I feel like there's some heavy hitters this year in the acting realm. We've got Brendan Fraser along with a lot of the cast of The Mummy.
Hmm.
We've got Giancarlo Esposito and Rosario Dawson, obviously kind of more notably recently from Ahsoka, but they are, great actors that have their own repertoires. And personally, the one that I was excited for is D. Bradley Baker, who ironically is credited in one of these shows that we're going to talk about later. Mark, would you like to guess which one he's credited in? Gen V or?
I can only imagine it's Peacemaker.
It is Peacemaker. He is credited as Eagly in
Mm.
Peacemaker.
As you say that, yes, the last episode I watched, I did see that Eagly had a voice. I'm like, you really paid someone to do the Eagly voice?
Yep, I know. And when I saw it was D. Bradley Baker, I was like, "That's amazing!" Like, I don't know what he did to to get that job. Like, did he have to audition to voice Eagly? that, that's my question when I saw that role. Is like, how did that happen? I don't understand. But I understand because the typical eagle cry or whatever, there is some inflections that almost makes it seem like Eagly is talking in some
Mm-hmm.
of those episodes. So I guess that's why they had him voice an eagle. He's a incredible voice actor and does animals frequently. I think he also voices Momo and Appa in the Avatar series.
Hmm.
So he does a ton of that stuff. But how do you get that job? Like just voicing nonverbal characters?
I feel like stuff like you just have to like be friends with who's ever doing the show or
True.
that stuff.
That was one thing I was like, okay, I love that guy because Bad Batch is one of my favorite Star Wars shows. He voices all of the clones in the Bad Batch and in Clone Wars. But I would not mind meeting him, getting him to sign like a Bad Batch Funko Pop or something like that. Mark, which ones are you excited for besides the ones that we've already mentioned?
Well, just like the last year, I want to see Sting. I think that would be one I'd be willing to pay for.
Yeah, right.
Because I was ready to go. Had the cards to sign, and I think
he backed
the
out
moment
like
I was
last minute.
it was literally the moment I was going to leave my house for the metro
man,
because I didn't bring the cards with. So
yeah, that's a bummer.
But one that does entice me is Brendan Fraser's going to be there. I don't know what I don't know. I'm not really like a photo op guy, but like, would it be cool to get an Infinity Bros photo with Brendan Fraser? Sure.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Oh, that would be really cool. Now that you say that, it would be cool to get like an Infinity Bros picture.
But I also hate waiting in line.
Also,
so like,
true. Yes,
I like despise it. So that's the other thing too, where it's like, if we could get there, like if we knew what time he was going to show up, but like how early do we get to just stand in line for Brendan Fraser?
Right. Well, and last year would have been a good year to do it because they had Hayden Christensen and Ian McDermott last year.
Those lines were huge.
Even though it's like you have to pay for those and like get your spot in line, you're still waiting like 4 hours for a picture with those guys, which is insane. Worth it like once in a lifetime, maybe, but I'm with you though. I'm not a big, if I'm there, I want to walk around and see the stuff, and sitting there and waiting in line just seems like kind of a waste of a day to me at a con. But if you really want to get pictures or get signed stuff from them, like that's what you got to do.
And know what? All two of those people that are huge fans of everyone that's showing up that wants to go get those signatures or photos or shake the hand, I'll do that. Like I get that passion.
Yeah, I'm not dogging that at all. Just personally, it's not really my thing for sure. But we get the right person, and if I'm doing it with you, doing an Infinity Bros picture, that would be way more fun than just waiting in line by myself to get a.
And I think I probably would be willing to do that would be willing to do that for Sting and Brendan Fraser, maybe with like as a Infinity Group. But yeah, Sting would be someone I would be probably willing to wait in line because I grew up watching him as a wrestler.
Right.
Just like I think I'd be the same with like Chris Jericho, but beyond like that celebrity, like I don't know, even an Avengers actor, like I don't know if I'd be like, yeah, let's go wait in line for 3 hours to get a 10-second meeting with him in a picture or them.
Right. And D. Bradley Baker intrigues me for the reasons of he's probably cheaper than the big name guys, and he's not going to have quite as long of a line.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, that one is like more doable in that sense than, $500 photo op waiting in line for 4 hours. It's just not my thing.
And to have them just like, here's someone taking a picture on your phone.
Yeah, right.
That's your photo.
Right. And the big name guys do have like the legit ones. I feel like most of the time.
Well, what was it?
Depends on the person.
McDermott last year.
Yeah.
You could only pay in cash, which is like, ooh, that guy is. Yep. I'm thinking like, oh, I bet that guy this little tax thing right there, all cash.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice little gig for them. They show up for
Mhm.
like one day to a con and make a little bit of money.
And
Yeah,
sure, yeah, that's standing there for 8 hours a day. But you think about it, you get 100 people, even just 100 people paying, let's just say $100 a pop. That's
yeah,
some good money. So
right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're gonna be there. So if you are planning to be there, make sure you let us know. You can hit us up at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com or on social media at the Infinity Bros. Oh, you know what? Maybe we can also get Robbie to tag along because he's got like online Magic the Gathering fame. So maybe he can get us his foot in the door with some of those vendors and get us a little deal or something like that. Who knows? If you want to meet Robert Redbeard, MTG, he might also be at
yeah, does he have
Magic.
a booth?
That would be amazing. We've talked about doing a booth before, but it just hasn't worked out in previous years. So someday,
Well,
someday we'll
and
do it.
now it would make sense with Robbie's popularity, what he's doing
Right,
solo, where
right,
it's like, it's
exactly.
Robbie and the Infinity Bros.
Robbie and the Infinity guys. We're just standing there along with him.
Yeah,
Everybody's like, Robbie,
we're
you're so
sucking on the
cool.
teat
And
of
we're
his
like,
fame.
yeah, we're here too.
We're his handlers.
His handlers. We were on, or he was on a podcast with Cassius Marsh recently, and he talked about us a little bit. And Robbie is the greatest dude ever, and he still is on the podcast frequently.
Yeah, fame hasn't gone to his head yet, so
Not
he's
yet,
not
not
there.
yet. But on that podcast, he did talk about the Infinity Bros in like past tense a few times, and I was like, it kind of made me sad a little bit. I was like, bro, you're still an Infinity Bro. What are you talking about?
You're one of us.
You're one of us. But obviously, he is definitely the most famous of all of us now. So if you're a big Robert the Redbeard or Magic the Gathering fan, hit us up as well, or hit up Robbie Redbeard. We'll have his link in here too. So, all right, let's move on to our other things. We do have a special rating system in the Infinity Bros podcast, so I'm going to play that right here.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
All right, so we're talking about Gen V and Peacemaker. I'm going to be talking about Gen V because Mark hasn't caught it yet. It just released yesterday.
Gen V season 2 to be specific.
Season 2.
I saw
Yes.
season 1.
Right.
So
Yes, exactly. Season 2 released yesterday on the 17th, and it came out with 3 episodes, which I was not aware of. I was like,
that's the Amazon MO though, right?
right,
Like,
it is. And it makes sense for them, but I didn't hear about it, didn't catch it at all, watched the first episode, and then it started playing the second one, and I was like, oh, I can't not watch it. It's already playing. Like, I'm not going to go stop it. So I ended up watching all 3 of them last night and stayed up way too late. And I'm probably going to crash immediately after this, after this podcast episode. But it was worth it because Gen V is fantastic. For those of you guys who are not familiar with it, it's a The Boys spinoff. In The Boys universe, it kind of interacts with The Boys. The last season, season 4 of The Boys, has some implications for season 2 of Gen V and vice versa. Season
does it
1.
play right off of the end of season 4? Or is it kind
Now,
of like a little
no,
bit before that?
there's definitely some things referenced, but it's not like a pick up right where season 4 left off of type
Okay.
of deal. And I'm not going to get too deep into spoilers because obviously it just dropped yesterday and you haven't seen it yet. But I was a little surprised because last season ends with them all in, like an incarceration,
Right.
like basically a soup's prison, minus Kate and Sam, I think
Mhm.
is the other guy's name, the crazy guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sam. They're all in there, and I kind of expected it to pick up from there, like because that was kind of a cliffhanger. Like, what are we?
So
How
did
are
they
they going
like
to get out of this?
mementoed you or mementoed us, and we're like a couple months after that? Like
Yeah,
some.
yeah. So that's where it picks up. Is kind of threw me off a little bit, and it made it a little tough to get into it. Starting with episode 1, but by episode 3, I'm all in again. Like this show, I will say The Boys, while ingenious, I feel like every episode, or every season, I should say, is getting a little bit more tired, if that's the right word for it. Still great. I loved season 4, but there's only so far you can go with this premise of like superheroes are bad and normal people before it is going to start to get old. And social media honestly has had an influence on me on that. Like the more I see of it, the more I'm like, man, maybe I'm just not into it anymore. And they also feel like, I feel like they're trying to one up themselves every season too.
Right. Well,
And sometimes
they
it gets
got
just
to.
a little, right. Yeah. Sometimes it gets just a little overboard. But Gen V season 1 was a breath of fresh air into that universe. And so far, season 2 has also been that. The one thing I do want to mention is the actor that plays Andre, which I'll look that
Chance.
up right now. Chance, yeah.
Yeah.
He passed away.
But yeah, he died in a motorcycle accident last year.
Yeah, so they actually have his character pass away.
Oh, he
in
does. Okay,
the
I
season.
was going to ask.
Yes. So, and I respect that. Like, I think that's an okay way to play it with, besides just recasting for TV. I know we've talked a lot about like MCU, how they could have, should have, would have recasted Black Panther after Chadwick Boseman died. But with television, when you're coming out with, frequent seasons and stuff like that, I feel like maybe it's okay to just leave that alone. And it plays into the story pretty well. Like, I think he passed away pretty shortly after season 1 was done airing. So I believe they I don't think they had to like rewrite much. I mean, unless they had a direction that they were
Yeah, I
planning
want
on
to say it
going.
was already out when he passed.
Right. Yes. I'm not sure how far into like script writing production, they were, but it picks up and does a pretty good job of having his character pass away in the show. So it's interesting. I will say slightly slower start, but again, by episode 3, I'm hooked. I'm back into it. The sprinklings of the boys that you get in Gen V is just, it's not too much. It's enough to keep you like, ooh, yeah, that's from the boys. Oh, okay. I really like how there's just sprinkling little bits enough to keep you interested. Little bits. It's fantastic so far. Through 3 episodes, give it a 5 out of 6. Definitely think there's potential for that to increase as the season goes on, because they've had some banger episodes in The Boys and Gen V.
Well, that's good to hear, because I like Gen V, the season 1, so I'm excited for season 2. And then I'm remembering this, I think, on the podcast when we reviewed this. My beautiful wife Kelly, I believe, made the bold claim of saying that Gen V was better than The Boys. So
that is an interesting claim, yeah. And back when season 1 dropped of The Boys, it was such a fresh, unique take on the superhero genre, because that was, I mean, gosh, I don't even remember when the first season dropped. It was probably 7-ish years ago now.
We were still teenagers.
We were not teenagers.
I'm kidding. That's just like,
gosh, it's not that long ago.
I think it was like 2019.
I was a boy. When I was a boy. It's been a while, but I feel like the superhero genre was pretty deep. Had Endgame already come out? I think it had.
Yeah, 2019 was when The Boys came out.
Yeah, and Endgame was 2018, so it was right after.
Endgame was 2019.
Infinity War was 2018, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So it was like right when...
It was after July 26, 2019. So it was after Endgame.
After
show
Endgame.
drops.
So it was like right at the peak of the superhero genre, right? Like, and that was when people, I mean, I feel like it didn't start to come down until we started to get the projects after Endgame. Like people saw Endgame and they were like lit. Like Endgame was the bomb. Like, I don't think people who saw Endgame got excited and then forgot about it. It was an event. It was a social event.
Right.
But The Boys like hit right at that peak of like superhero genre. It was so different from DC.
It was counterculture to the superhero stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, here's how superheroes probably would be
in the real world.
Especially if they were created by some government or conglomerate entity. Like this is what they're going to be.
Right. And they still do an incredible job at playing that angle of like, hey, this is probably what it would look like in the real world through the 3 episodes that I've seen still peak in that sense. But again, that universe, I feel like people are starting to get a little tired of. I'm wondering, because I don't know what the future is for the rest of this universe. I really hope they try to end it and not like just drag it out as long as they possibly can.
Well, season 5 or this next season of The Boys is supposed to be the last season of
It
The
is.
Boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I
But
think
then
that's
it's
a good
like,
thing.
are they going to just end that story and continue with Gen V and see how that goes? Like, still explore the world?
True.
Like, I'm kind of okay with that. Like,
Yeah,
if they're
I would
like,
be okay with that
we'll
too.
explore the fallout of The Boys, but it won't follow those characters.
Yeah. Yeah. And with the way that these characters are shaping up in Gen V, yeah, I'm totally down
Especially
with
when the
that.
timeline for Gen V is like in the same time, like
Right.
happening concurrently. So,
Right. Exactly. That makes me excited because like we're coming to a precipice with all of this happening in the Boys universe. And again, I don't want to spoil too much, but everything that the Boys and Gen V are leading up to, I mean, it's going to start to spill over in this season. And then obviously it's happening in season 5 of the Boys since it's the last season. But it's very interesting so far. I'm really excited to see where it goes. So, and that's, I would assume it dropped on Wednesday. So I'm assuming that's a Wednesday drop every week. Yep. So that's every Wednesday. We'll be wrapping up after the 8th episode on October 22nd. So another weekly TV show that we have to look forward to along with Peacemaker.
right.
So that'll be fun. Might have to, trudge through those first 3 episodes so you can get onto that weekly release schedule.
Right.
But once you're there, I love the weekly release schedule. Just like the anticipation it builds.
We're back to it.
We're back.
I think
We're
we
back,
talked
baby.
about it
We
last
talked
week
about
too.
this on the last episode. Yeah, for
where
sure.
it's just like we've literally come full circle where everyone grew up, society grew up on appointment television. Netflix brought us the binge watching. We love binge watching. And now we've been reconditioned back to, there's something about the weekly thing. We can talk about it. We can chat about it and get hyped and then be disappointed when none of the things we
built
hyped
up
it
a
up
little
for.
bit. Yeah. Good stuff.
How did Mephisto not show up?
Now we don't have to argue about that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So anyways, yeah, Gen V, great show. Would highly recommend it for any people that watched and enjoyed The Boys or season 1 of Gen V. We're going to move on to Peacemaker. Not going to give a spoiler warning quite yet because we're going to get a little bit of our thoughts up through episode 4. So we've got a lot going on in it. We've got a couple new characters. What are your thoughts so far through 4 episodes of Peacemaker, Mark?
I'm really enjoying it. I feel like there could be more action, especially with Peacemaker. I feel like we really haven't gotten Peacemaker in his outfit doing stuff.
True.
But I get we're kind of this season where, Peacemaker's figuring out his identity. He has an identity crisis. And we got a little bit of that in episode 4 of him like doing Peacemaker stuff. I'm really enjoying the multiverse aspect that they're doing here. So I'm really interested in how they're going to play this out. I almost guarantee he will not end up in that other universe because the one thing that is blatantly, I think that they're really showing us is there's not a single person of color in that universe, and that's probably why he's a hero there.
Yep.
It'll be really interesting if he figures that out, or if his dad figures out why there's not people of color. Because I'm assuming at some point there's going to be a crescendo where I feel like we talked about this in the last episode, where he's going to battle his brother and dad. He's going to have to because they're going to probably come into his universe and try to attack his friends, and just how it's going to go. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah. I feel like the building in this season has been fantastic. The storytelling is top tier. We already talked a lot about James Gunn last week when we reviewed the premiere of Peacemaker, but he's such a great storyteller. I would actually disagree with you on the action thing. Like, I do think there's enough action to, because there is a balance you got to strike with superhero shows. I feel like there's got to be enough action, but there's also got to be enough stuff pushing the story forward. Otherwise, you got the comic book fans too are just crazy. They're not ever going to be happy with almost anything. Right. But James Gunn, I think, strikes that balance pretty well. Episode 4 specifically was a story building episode, like through and through, but there was like one or two scenes where we did get some good action. This isn't a spoiler because we have already seen like previews and stuff for it, but Judo Master is back and we got some good action with him and stuff like that. So I would disagree with that. I think there's a good mix of both, but there was definitely a story building emphasis so far in this season. So episode 3 was the highest rated so far at an 8.5 on IMDb, which is pretty dang good for IMDb. I mean, TV episodes on IMDb rarely get over 9. And actually, next week's episode, or tonight's episode, I should say, is rated a 9.1. Wow. So we might be in for a banger of an episode this week. So excited for that one. But I think from here on out, we're going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't watched it yet, pause this episode. We already got you download. Thank you. We appreciate you. Now, here's your spoiler warning.
This is...
Prepare yourself.
An Infinity Bros.
Prepare yourself.
Spoiler warning.
All right, so getting into spoilers a little bit, we had the premiere episode review on episode 232 of the Infinity Bros podcast. That'll be in the show notes. So if you haven't caught that yet, go check that out. Episode 2, we we met Flurry, which is played by Tim Meadows. And so far, this guy is like my favorite character in this series. Oh my gosh, the bird blindness thing.
So like that's...
Wow.
So I can really appreciate this. Like to me, it's just like initially I'm like, okay, why do we have a character like this that's just like completely out of place for his role?
Yeah.
But then I gotta remember, it's like, well, this is a comic book TV show, so you got to have some weirdness to it. Yeah. So like that, and it just works too.
A ridiculous show too.
Yeah,
we definitely have got a lot. I feel like this season has been a lot more serious than season 1 was. Like season 1 was crazy. And you're literally dealing with alien invasion. You know?
So like how I got over that with Tim Meadows' character, it's like, well, I gotta take this back. His pet eagle is basically like a dog. So okay, I'll take that. It's not like a super enhanced eagle. It's literally just an eagle.
Just an eagle. Just a normal eagle. Or duck or parrot or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever Tim Meadows thinks it is. Oh my gosh. But I thought that episode was hilarious. Eagly got an amazing episode where he just got to beat the crap out of the Argus team. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. The special effects / action of him beating the crap out of those was amazing. The one shot that I always think of is when he's tearing the crap out of the guy outside and then rips his eye out, and the eye like flings up into the air in slow motion in the moonlight and stuff. And I'm like, that's like a great representation of how ridiculous this show is, I feel like. But it was incredible. And Tim Meadows is just, he's hilarious. Then in the next episode too, when he's confronted by the team leader, I don't even remember her name, but he's like, it God almost told me it was a duck. Like he doubles down on the bird blindness thing. Like you thought that was a 1 episode thing, but no, this is going to be a running gag throughout the whole season. He
literally has something called bird blindness.
And I actually saw that James Gunn, somebody asked him a question on Threads or Twitter, which if you don't know, James Gunn responds personally to a ton of stuff on social media. So he's
responded to me in the past. Like,
what did you ask him?
It's been a while. I'd have to go look it up. But that was
I
shared it with the Infinity Bros when it happened.
Oh, he's retweeted some of our Infinity Bros stuff too.
Like he pays attention. You just got to catch him when he's looking at his phone, apparently.
Right, exactly. But he responded to somebody because they asked him about the burn blindness. Like, how did you come up with that? And he said that one of his friends legitimately has face blindness. Yeah. Like he can't tell the difference between people's faces. And he was like, well, it didn't seem like that much of a stretch to go from face blindness to bird blindness. So, which, the mind of James Gunn.
Yeah. One of the Old Testament or New Testament professors at Crown had face blindness.
That's wild that's a real thing. It totally sounds so fake, but
it's real.
But it's real. And then episode 3, we got a banger of an episode. Like I said, that was the highest rated so
pretty
far.
Much all in the other universe.
Yeah, all in the other universe. He, like you mentioned previously, he's not in his Peacemaker outfit. He goes and dresses up in some frilly
as Chris Smith wears in that universe. Yep.
in that universe. What does he say? I think he says dressed up like a Kardashian.
Yep. And they're like, "Who's that?"
His brother, yeah, his brother's like, who's that? So
Or "What's that?"
another,
or something like, yeah.
yeah, another like point to maybe there's no people of color in this universe.
Or I just hope we get an episode where he like figures that all out and like does like a YouTube or whatever it would be called there, and like get a
Gosh.
whole history. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, these
Yeah.
people were a lot worse."
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna happen down the line. Let's see how many. We got 8 episodes this season, and half of it's over already. It's kind of wild to think about. But anyways, that episode was fantastic. Like you said, he's in the other dimension. Pretty much the whole episode, he saves the people from the bomb in the building. A lot of good action in that one. And he's reconnecting with Harcourt.
Mm-hmm. Harcourt 2.
Harcourt too. Yeah.
Yep.
What does he call her? Amelia in that one, and then he just calls her Harcourt in his
Right.
universe or whatever. And I think he calls her Harcourt at the beginning of that episode, and she's like, Smith.
Yeah. Like
okay.
it clearly like this isn't
Yeah.
like what they do in this universe.
Yeah, right. And then interesting little tidbit. At the beginning of that episode, there is a flashback of Harcourt and Rick Flag Jr., which seems like it's in the main universe, referencing they like hooked up, they had a relationship, and then Rick Flag Jr. says something about like, yeah, we don't want June to find out, which is referencing the Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad, but Suicide Squad, where he's in a relationship with the Enchantress.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild that we got confirmation that that's like canon. Kind of wild. I'm surprised that we got it, but also kind of at the same time, James Gunn just doesn't care. He just does what he wants.
And that happening to me, it's like, okay, this is like James Gunn is in full control of this universe. Like he can play with whatever toys are available to him. It's like in this other universe, are we gonna get some more superheroes down the line that are like exist here? Or are we gonna get some like I just imagine that has to happen. I know we got some in the first episode with the Justice Gang.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine we're gonna get thrown someone's gonna get involved. Maybe we get a drop of a Green Lantern. Like
he's hinted, James Gunn has hinted that there's a lot more cameos in this season, and there has been a lot of set photos of Superman with the actors in this series as well. So maybe we get a Superman cameo.
Oh, well, there you go.
Season. It's very interesting that and it didn't seem to really relate to anything else in the episode besides the fact that we get Rick Flag Jr. in the other universe, who is completely different, like weak, timid dude who's like super jealous of Amelia Harcourt. So that was interesting to me. This got to come back to play later down on the line, right? Like when he interacts with his universe's Amelia Harcourt, that's relationship's got to come back into play somehow.
You would imagine.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, is like, did Rick Flag Sr. die in this universe? And that's why he's more of a, not a, hard ass or whatever.
True.
So.
Yeah, that could be. That'll be interesting to see. So, I mean, you already referenced Rick Flag Sr. We get a little bit more of him throughout this season. And in episode 4, we get him making a deal with our universe's Harcourt to like, hey, give up Peacemaker and we'll get you back into the good graces of all of the government agencies that have rejected.
We'll pull you from the blacklist.
Yeah, from the blacklist. Exactly. So she starts to do it, and that's kind of where we leave off at the end of episode 4. But there is a few more things that were fun in episode 4 with like the portal like door switcher. Like I was wondering
how figuring out like the origin of that, where it's like his dad kills an alien and then has this portal door.
Random alien just has a door portal in the middle of the woods. Like like part of me just wants him to not go back to that and explain that at all. Like just like go with it. Like, hey, yeah, this alien had a portal in the middle of the woods. Why? I don't know. It's just there. But yeah, his dad just murders this alien, takes his portal. They figure out how to transport the door, and that's kind of a big plot point in this episode of him transporting the portal back to his cabin while Economos tries to stall
Right.
breaking into the door. And
I
it
did
was
love how when he was trying to find like the like thing that's the portal door, it was just like in a storage closet. Like he didn't have it like somewhere
Yeah.
important. He's like, where is
Yeah.
it? Like going through a box.
just,
Like
just a random closet in his
Yeah.
house, right? This was a fun episode because it was like Economos is like one of the main, was basically the main character in this episode. Like he got his time to shine in this, which I mean, he's obviously been a main character throughout this series, but this one he definitely was featured more so. And Steve Agee is the actor's name. He actually was at MinnesotaCon. I don't know, did you come to that one with me? That
I
not
think
the
the
Twin
summer
Cities
one.
Con.
Yeah,
it
I
was
didn't
the
go to that
summer
one.
one. So he and Freddie Stroma, who plays Vigilante, were both at that con. And I didn't get a chance to talk to Steve Agee, but Freddie Stroma's booth was just completely empty. So I literally just walked right up to them and like was talking with him. Him and his girlfriend were sitting at the booth, and Freddie Stroma is like the coolest dude ever. That was a really cool opportunity, and that was the summer after first season of Peacemaker came out, so like pretty fresh, I feel like, and it was really fun to meet those guys. But Steve Agee is just a fun dude, not your typical actor build. There was actually a set photo of him with some of the other guys. I don't remember if John Cena was in it, but David Corenswet was in it, and Corenswet's I think he's bigger than Cavill, like taller than Cavill. I think he's 6'4".
6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, and Steve Agee was like towering over him. He's like 6'8" or something like that, which is wild. Big dude. We get Michael Rooker in this episode as the, oh my gosh, that was.
I like how the whole time like Peacemaker's just like, or not Peacemaker. Economist is like, this is clearly appropriation. What is okay with this?
Yeah, he's like, guys, do you not see this? Like, what is this? Why does everybody not pretend to notice this? And everybody just completely ignores it. And then at the end of the episode, he actually becomes important and finds out the location where they're at, which I did not see coming. I did not think Mike Rooker's character is going to be important in this at all. Interesting things. And then I already mentioned him kind of on the pre-spoilers thing, but we do get Judo Master back. Right. He's working for Argus now, and I guess tracking down Peacemaker. And they do have kind of a cool chase scene in the woods
as he's in his like tight leather pants and like that weird
button. Yep. And he's so much bigger than Judo Master. It's so funny. Like they're flipping all over the place and like on top of his head most of the time. Like, oh my gosh, it's a great fight scene. So that was the one that was like, like I appreciate the little sprinkles of action to keep you interested, because I feel like our culture right now is just so impatient when it comes to TV and movies and stuff. And it's like, if the action isn't right there, a lot of people are like, oh, this show sucks. Like, it's not a good superhero show. There's not enough action. Blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I know I said I wanted more action, but I don't feel that way. So hopefully no one gets that. Like, I love the show. I wanted more Peacemaker in Peacemaker stuff. So maybe
that was not my impression of you, because I know that you are an enjoyer of like 95% of everything.
Pretty much. That's a good
as opposed to many other members of this podcast.
Yeah, right.
Which I don't even think, like, I know Robbie is going to be watching Peacemaker because he's a DC guy. Max probably won't watch it because it's not his jam. This is maybe a controversial series among the Infinity Bros because of that. I feel like, because there's a lot of things that Max just straight up won't watch.
But then next, watch The Boys or get us into From. Like that's
From.
Yeah.
From is the one that blows my mind.
I don't know what he looks for in shows, but
I don't.
And From
know
helps that it was the writers of Lost, so that's probably what got him in.
Right.
So.
That's definitely what attracted him to From. But I still like, after I watched the first episode of From, I was like, Max likes this show.
Right.
The first episode, like, it does not pull punches.
No.
In the pilot episode, like, it hooks you immediately. Yeah, this is a show that I don't even know if has he watched he did watch the first season of Peacemaker, because I remember him being annoyed by the intro.
Right. He didn't like, which, going to that intro, I would also, I think, having now watched it a few times, it doesn't hit as hard as the first one. It just
I'm with you.
And it's a song. I think it's all the song.
It's the song. Yep. Yeah. It's definitely the song. I
Unless
think this one is growing on me a little bit, but I don't think it's going to get to the banger that season 1
Well, I
song
think it's because
was.
they went more with a soft rock song this time versus like
Yeah,
a hard rock. That you
right.
know, but maybe that's what James Gunn was doing. He's setting the mood. This is the
Right.
more
Well, and
softer
he did
season.
say that it's intentional, the picking of the song, because it's relevant to the season, is what he said. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays into it later in the season. I know he has used Foxy Glove, I think is the band that
Hmm.
plays that song. He's used a lot of their music in other episodes of the show as well. So I think he just also has a personal preference of what music
Right.
he wanted to pick for it. So, but anyways, I think there's a lot to look forward to for the rest of the season. Like I said, the 5th episode dropped
Yeah,
half an hour
should be
ago now.
dropped now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So by the time this episode gets released, it will be available to watch on HBO Max. Overall, what would you give the show as a whole for season 2 so far?
I don't really like. I hate to say like it's under a 6 out of 6 because it's like, well, the next 4 episodes can make it a 6 out of 6.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll just we're in that 5 to 6 range where it's going to end up at the last 4 episodes. We'll see if they keep how they're writing going. I think they'll be fine. I think we'll be really close to 6 out of 6.
Yep.
I think now we're at the point. It's like, how are we going to land the plane of the story? Like, I'm still. Where are they going with this? What's the end game here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then to me, it's like another thing that always helps me really love a show more. It's like, I guess like I don't need a ton of cameos, but like have a cameo mean something where it's just like it's not someone walking through the screen like or in the background or being talked about, but like they're actually involved for an episode to be like, okay, this is a shared universe. So
Yeah.
that's I mean that's what I'm looking forward to. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm giving a 5.5 as of right now. I would say this show is better to me than a lot of other shows through half of the episodes of the season. Like it's just a really, really well made show. And I appreciate that. I think just the nature of it being a, TVMA, very crude humor type show, which is James Gunn. Like that's just
right.
James Gunn's humor. It doesn't hit quite as hard for me, but the story beats are incredible. So I'm all in on it, and I've been more excited for this weekly drop than pretty much any show this year, I feel like. And I don't know why that is. I'm just really into it. I'm pumped about it. It's probably good enough to hit my top 6 for 2025. I mean, obviously that's, like you said, dependent on how the rest of the season goes, but it's like in that upper echelon of shows that are dropping this year. So I'd give it a 5.5 out of 6 for sure so far. You mentioned it a little bit, but we got a few things to look forward to for the rest of the season. Namely, what the heck is going on in the BDE, or the best dimension ever. So, I mean, you said it, that there does not seem to be any people of color. We already mentioned the Kardashians reference. What other evidence that you have seen, or are you thinking, that points to that this is maybe like almost like a dystopian future of like World War II, where the Nazis like win or something like that? Like,
Well, right. Well, I've heard rumors that this is actually Earth X, which is that universe where everyone's basically evil. But to me, it's like, well, I want more on what were those people revolting or rebelling against?
Right.
Like, why were they blowing up that building?
Yeah.
Like, what was the purpose or like, why are they destroying this area that looks perfectly fine and everyone's happy?
Right.
So, like,
We're
I think
almost-
I think that'll be something that I think will be funny with
Right.
Peacemaker. Will he figure out like, oh, I think those guys were actually the good guys I just killed.
that I just killed, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And with him starting to come to terms with being a hero and probably not wanting to kill quite as many people as he used to.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have some guilt or something.
Well, that's
over
his
that.
identity crisis he's been going. Like,
Right.
That's what we got right away in the first season first episode
Yep.
was season 2 about.
It's
He's trying to figure
actually
out his
kind
purpose.
of the parallels to something in Gen V is really interesting. Of what if this is like the equivalent of the Starlighters, which in The Boys and Gen V, the Starlighters are like, they're painted as the good guys. They're like more of a resistance group. I wouldn't say they're like an extremist or terrorist group or anything like so far that we've seen. But I mean, you almost draw some of that parallels of like, so is this terrorist group, are they actually the good guys? like you
Right.
were saying, like, are they actually fighting against the bad things that we haven't seen
Right.
yet?
Like they're the Rebel Alliance of this universe.
Right, the Rebel Alliance. There you go. That's another good parallel. I like that. So anyways, yeah, lots of fun stuff to look forward to. I'm very excited for the rest of the season. So
It'll be fun.
yeah, should be fun. All right, Mark, anything else you want to go over before we start wrapping up the episode here?
I'm good. The only thing I always think about this for shows to watch. Have you watched Righteous Gemstones yet?
I have not. I've heard a lot about it, mostly probably from you.
So there's 4 seasons out now. They're done, but this final season that dropped this year, there's just something about it where that like the first episode of this last season is nothing like any of the other episodes, but it might be one of the best pieces of TV media that like has ever been made. That's my bold claim right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But to watch it, you kind of need to watch the first 3 episodes,
Right,
or
you
first
need
3
the
seasons
context of the previous
to like kind of
seasons.
understand like, wow, this is like nothing like the other episodes. Like, why did they do such a origin story like this and make it so serious? And then the rest of the show is just ridiculous.
I think there's definitely several episodes like that in The Bear as well. And I think that's why the season 3 of The Bear, season 4 is the most recent season, but season 3 got some criticism because they had some really incredible single episodes of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But the season as a whole really didn't move the narrative forward a whole lot.
Sure.
So I think a lot of people were kind of like, not super crazy about it, but like the episode, I'm trying to remember, I think it's called Napkins with Tina in it, is like one of the best episodes of television, and even in the previous seasons. I think season 2 has the one, I think it's called Forks with Richie, his whole turn. But like, yeah, some amazing single episodes that don't really, like you said, Righteous Gemstones is probably more of a significant difference in how that episode is different, because it's still part of the narrative in The Bear, but like they really focused on making them good episodes of television rather than just a piece of the pie of the whole season. So that's interesting. I'm gonna definitely have to check that out. I mean, I've heard good things from you. I've heard good things from my friend Caleb, so definitely on my list.
And it's definitely inappropriate, like The Boys with their visuals. so FYI,
just to be warned. And Walton Goggins is in it too.
Oh,
right?
great!
Like
just he's a supporting character and just like steals this,
any scene he's in.
He's in, yeah. There.
That's awesome. All right, cool. Well, thanks for that recommendation, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Infinity Bros podcast.
I'm glad you invited me. I'm glad to be invited to be on a podcast I'm a part of.
To be on a podcast that I am on almost every episode.
I do my best. I'm here.
And
I
you
love
do
it.
a great job.
Thanks.
Love being on a podcast episode with you, Mark. It's good fun. If you love it too, make sure you check out The Infinity Bros at theinfinitybros.com. You can hit us up at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com or on any of our socials at The Infinity Bros. We would love to hear from you. We love you 3000. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening, thank you so much for making us a part of your podcast experience. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at the Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.